Walt Disney World bring joy and inspiration and new knowledge to all who come to this happy place.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. We're here today in the Nerd Den.
Yes, deep in the Nerd Den. I'm privileged to be here today.
Yeah, I let her in for this video.
Yes, usually I knock, wait to see if it's okay to come in, and then normally I just walk away because he's always in a meeting. Always. He's a professional meeting person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's nice to be in here today. But we are here today to talk to you about, briefly, our recent trip to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. We visited 4 parks over the course of a 7-day vacation. And although you're in the Magic Kingdom and it's the most magical place in the world, we definitely had amazing highlights, but we also had some lowlights, right?
Lowlights?
Lowlights. I don't like
pitfalls.
Some challenging moments.
Challenges.
There were some lowlights. You got the highlights, you got the lowlights. But we will never say we want to talk to you about the good things and then the bad things. It's never bad. It's challenging.
And as you saw in the previous video, traveling with an autistic teenager, it was pretty positive. I think
it was. He did great.
There wasn't a lot of lowlights in the video itself. And that part of the trip was actually pretty easy.
Yeah, he did well. 7,000 questions later. Good for him. He did great. Mm-hmm. But we had some challenges. Challenges that frazzled my nerves. And I am a person that has lots of patience. And they frazzled me. But we'll get into that. So you want to talk about the highlights of traveling with a child with autism / an ADHD diagnosis. But if we're being totally honest and in all transparency, we also have another teenage son with ADHD. And as a result of ADHD, he tends to get a little bit of anxiety sometimes. Also, if we're being totally transparent, you want to talk?
What, my ADHD?
Yes.
I have ADHD and social anxiety disorder.
Yes.
So, again, filming these videos is nothing easy for me to do.
No, it's not. ADHD, a lot of people think it's ADHD, they're hyper. Okay, big deal.
No.
Oh, they're distractible. Oh, big deal. No, with ADHD, with that dysregulation of the brain comes a lot of challenges like anxiety and social anxiety. So there's a lot.
And you're thinking about 20 things at once.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the mind of the individual with ADHD. So it's not just traveling with a child with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and ADHD. We're also traveling with a family who have multiple diagnoses. And you get us all in a car and you put us on a vacation in a hotel over the course of a week. And there's challenges. There's going to be challenges.
But would you say we're no ordinary family?
I don't think we're an ordinary family. Oh. What makes us not ordinary? What makes us ordinary? Well, the thing for us is that we face challenges every day. And I always tell him, I really hope, we try, and I try to be a positive person. I try to project that because I truly do feel so blessed with life and blessed to have my family. And so I project that. I'm so thankful. But at the same time, I wouldn't want anybody to think that our lives is just like this walk in the park with rainbows and sunshine, that, we just don't have challenges because we have challenges on the daily, right?
Yes.
On the daily. And so we want to share that with you. How do we get around that? How do we get around those challenges on the daily that we experience? Because we certainly do. So we do certain things. We do things to help us through, so that we don't resort to doing things that are unhealthy for our family. And we've learned over the course of the years. So anyway, go ahead and start talking about it.
What, the highlights of the trip?
The trip that really, wow, this is great.
Well, first of all, being back in a Disney park after a year was great. Mm-hmm. It was exactly 1 year to the day that we were last in a park.
Yeah.
So it was
that was great.
It was magical. I hate to use that when you're talking about Disney, but it's
yes,
it's magical.
I literally, no kidding, See, I just sighed right now. Jason knows that when I inhale that way, when I give a big sigh, I'm very overwhelmed by what I'm taking in. I don't do it often, but when I literally stop and you catch me doing a big inhale, I'm overwhelmed by what I'm experiencing in a good way at that moment. And when I walked into Magic Kingdom for the first time,
Seeing Cinderella's castle.
seeing the castle, it was at the castle, right? I've been there when I was there when I was 14. You know, you don't remember a lot, but when I saw the castle, you heard it, the big sigh. It was so magical. And a lot of people don't get Disney. They're like, oh, Disney is this and Disney is that and Disney is this and Disney represents that. But Disney, for me, represents it represents the opportunity to just be young again, to be a child, to release all of your problems and your hardships and the stresses and the distractions that life throws at you, and you put your family there in this magical place, and you're just able to enjoy each other's company in this magical place.
Especially, but you know, we were at Disneyland, and a week later they shut down.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, you know, a couple weeks, and it's a year later,
Yeah.
and they're just now getting to the point where they're talking about opening at the end of April.
Yeah.
With a 15% capacity,
Wow.
and it's my understanding that there's no indoor dining and there's no
So,
indoor rides. I mean, 90% of the rides are dark rides, and what do you do when
Peter
you
Pan, my
can't-
favorite.
can't go indoor?
It's a small world. So yes, it felt great, you know, to be able to walk into that park and to resume it again, like we were last there in March of 2020, and then we just resumed, and it was just so amazing. We had an amazing time. The parks, experiencing all of the parks, and my favorite was, oh gosh, I'm torn, Epcot and Wild
The Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. Those were my favorite. I think largely because Connor enjoyed those so much that it made me enjoy the park. I was able to enjoy the park more because I didn't have to, behavior manage so much. I was able just to truly take in the park and enjoy it because Connor enjoyed it so much.
Well, and then there was also, Hollywood Studios. It was you and Connor left.
Yeah.
It was the twins and I.
That was not one of the good moments. That's one of the more challenging.
Hollywood Studios, for those of you on the West Coast, is very much like California Adventure. There's a lot of rides there that are for grown children, and Connor, with his autism, is not getting on them. Mm-hmm. And if you try to trick him on it, your day is going to be ruined.
Yeah, you can't trick him on it. You can't trick any of my kids on anything.
We got him on the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Mm-hmm.
And he rode, what else at Hollywood Studios?
Oh, he hated it.
Oh, we did finally get to do Rise of the Resistance.
Oh, no, that was Fast Tracks in Epcot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Only 2 rides.
Rise of the Resistance. So you still have to do the queue. You have to get on at a certain time, and you have to keep pressing the button, refreshing, and hope to get a slot. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how it happened, but we got slot number 2.
Because he was determined. He was up early that morning, all ready to go. And I don't know how he did number 2.
People jump in and they start at the same time I do, and they're lucky to get 30.
Yeah. And
to refresh and see that you pulled slot number 2.
Yes.
But then that meant that we had to be at the park literally at open.
Yeah. But it was a great experience. I wish the queue was available, but it was a really good ride.
They don't let you do the pre-show where you board the shuttle and get the whole walk out of the shuttle into the stormtroopers, and so basically they just walk you through a path into the stormtroopers, and it didn't have all the same magic, but
it didn't, but it had magic.
From that point on, when you see the stormtroopers and you're led into your interrogation chamber, it's the same ride, and it moved. I mean,
that ride right there. I can't tell you what a highlight it was for the trip, because this guy right here
I've been trying for over a year,
and he can't. It never happened. And
slot 2.
Now he finally got on it, and it was one of those moments, like Connor says, because Jason finally experienced Magic Kingdom. Connor told his dad, "Now you can die in peace, Dad."
Yeah.
It was like he finally did it. I was so excited.
I finally filled the bucket list of writing.
That was
over the course of the 6 days in the parks. You're writing all the rides that I had.
All the food that we were able to experience, the rides that you got on, all your bucket list rides, all the foods that we were able to experience. That was a definite highlight.
But something that you need to prepare for is the food bill.
Yes.
Woo! I am a cast member.
Woo!
And I don't openly talk about that too much.
No.
But, we were thinking we were going to use the cast discount and, get some percentage off. No. There are so many rules about cast member discounts in that park and in those parks. Mm-hmm. The restaurant we ate at on Monday night, Crystal Palace, yeah, which reminded me a lot of the Plaza
Pavilion,
the one at Disneyland.
It was a pavilion,
but the fried chicken meal,
really
it's that type of restaurant. In the park inside of Magic Kingdom, I'm thinking, well, if any place is going to take the cast member discount, it's going to be inside the park. No, not after 3 p.m.
There's so many rules about that, about the discounts, and even like we get little perks. There's so many rules about that, so you definitely have to go having enough fundulation to cover the food over the course of a week, because it is not cheap. There's rules about not before 3, not after 7. Not for dinner, only for lunch. That's for breakfast. Not at this location, that location, and sometimes you don't even want to deal with it.
And some places have a service fee.
Yeah. So
that you're not expecting.
Yeah, and if you, like us, we did gift cards. We did lots of gift cards. But if you do, like, smaller gift cards, like $50, $100.
There was a service charge for
every
each
time
run.
you give it to them to swipe it, there's a service charge, and it's a pretty good one. Like,
and
$10.
We ran 4 cards on one, so there was, I think it was $60
No,
in service
it was $40.
fees.
It was $40.
It was a little more than that. It was ridiculous.
I remember it being $40. I remember you saying specifically.
I think that was the tip I left.
But every time you swipe gift cards, there's service charges to swipe those gift cards.
Get the gift cards that do the range from 50 to 500 and load them up.
So if you're going to do gift cards, do large gift cards, like 100.
So it's only one swipe.
500. Because if you do 50 and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do 150 here. Then
but again, that was at Disney Springs too. That was a different experience.
Yeah, it's different everywhere you go. So the point is, just have plenty of funds available.
My recommendation to you is expect to pay as much for food as you do for your hotel.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because, I mean...
But again, the food is...
it's really good, but, I mean, you're away from home. You want to be able to enjoy, the dining experience. And it's expensive. Very expensive. So nice that I have to cook for a week. My family was very happy because...
because we have to eat your food.
You know what? I'm not a bad cook. I've been, I began raising a family when I was like 23 years old, and I was cooking and cooking, and I've done it my whole life. And at a certain point, I just burned out. I got so tired after 20-something years of it. Like, I just so tired of it. And so he helps me a lot, and he cooks with a lot of passion and gusto. And you could taste it in his food, like the way it tastes. And me, you could tell that I'm just cooking it just because, like, I got to put something on the table. So that's the difference, is passion. Not that I'm a bad cook. I'm just over it, The kids, the teens should be cooking for us. They like
the experience of eating out every night. They do.
Oh, they had a ball. And you know what? I'm being honest. The best part for me,
was not doing dishes.
Besides not having to cook and do dishes, the best part for me, absolutely, hands down, was spending time with my family, disconnected. Was all of the laughter that we had. Oh my goodness, there was so much laughter. There was so much giving of hugs and kisses. Even Hannah, who's a little bit more reserved and private, was just hugging all over me and giving me kisses. I love you, Mom. Being in the hotel and making the memories.
Yeah, going above and beyond the meals. It was just every day.
I got goosebumps. I literally have goosebumps because it was a family time. Man, and when we got back, I was like, oh, I don't want that to go away.
What else? What was your favorite ride?
My favorite ride? Well, you know I love Peter Pan. I love Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. I will tell you, Peter Pan in Florida is better than Peter Pan in California.
It's hands down my favorite. It's hands down my favorite. It's just something so magical about it. Like I'm transported to another world.
Looking down on the city, so when you first fly out over London, and you see they remodeled it a little bit in California to look more like Florida, but to see the actual cars moving, and it was just better.
Yeah, it was. I love Peter Pan. I did not like
Pirates is way better in California.
Oh yes.
Pirates was very mediocre in Florida.
It's all right.
It was very mediocre.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's essentially you take that first little baby drop and you're in the ride. There's no... I like going around Blue Bayou and hearing the banjo playing, and the dead men tell no tales, and then the drop, and then you go around and you have to do another drop because they have to get you into that parking lot, and
it's just a longer ride. But I definitely I love Pirates, but Peter Pan's my favorite. And the park that really was difficult for me was Hollywood Studios, as he's previously mentioned. Connor did not enjoy it. There was so much sun. That sensory-wise, that overwhelmed Connor.
Yeah, that circles me back to being so much like California Adventure.
Yes.
There's no shade.
No.
There is zero shade in that park. And the twins and I did it from pretty much open to close. We were there. We had dinner after the park closed. Yeah. So we were there.
That was nice.
We were there open.
That was nice, yes.
Yeah, we were there open till after park closed. And zero shade. I think I got a little burned. Hannah was a little burned.
A lot burned.
It's we had to go find the relaxation station to take off our masks because
breathing in them is tough.
As you're sweating and your mask gets wet, it's harder to breathe.
It's very hard.
It was my favorite park.
Was it?
It was my favorite park,
really?
And I would like to do it again, no mask.
Yeah, it's a hard park with the mask because you do sweat, and it feels like at points that you're suffocating in this wet mask, and so you definitely have to take breaks.
The Aerosmith ride.
And take multiple masks.
We did
multiple masks.
We did Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster.
I missed out on that.
And even Hunter, who hates roller coasters, did it.
And honestly, I would love to have ridden that ride, Connor had to go back to the hotel.
We did skip Tower of Terror because Hunter was really kind of lukewarm on it. And Hannah says, well, I've already ridden Guardians. It's the same ride. And I said, actually, Guardians is better. Yeah. This is the original. It was the original Tower of Terror. But she's already done the up and down in the elevator thing. She wasn't so jazzed on that. She wanted to go experience more of the things like the Aerosmith roller coaster. And
I would have loved to have gone on that, but Connor had to go back to the hotel. Again, when you travel with a child with ASD / ADHD or any diagnosis where they are overwhelmed by their environment through overload of sensory input, you have to be able to just not look at it like, oh, this isn't going according to my plan, and be frustrated by it. You have to be willing to change the plan up and be okay with it. So I got back on the bus and went to the hotel. Connor immediately went in there, took a shower, and laid in bed and covered his head with a pillow. I put on Ocean Waves.
That was day 3. I think at that point he was already getting tired.
He was overwhelmed by the heat. The heat was too much for him, the bright light, and all of the people, because that's a popular that's a popular place because of the big rides. He wasn't having it.
Capacity seemed a little bit heavier than...
Pre-spring break. So it was nice to go back and just let him rest, and then to get ready, just kind of get himself together, and then we did go to Sci-Fi Dine-In.
The Sci-Fi Dine-In. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. That was, oh my goodness, what an experience. I love that place. It felt like literally I was at a drive-in because I felt like the wind. Didn't you feel that?
They had a breeze blowing.
I felt like a breeze.
It felt like a nice, and the air conditioner was running, so you feel like you're in a nice outdoor cold, not freezing cold, but
like
a nice chilly night.
Like it's cool, and you feel that breeze, and you see the twinkling.
And the stars, and But it's inside of a building,
yes,
so.
and they were distanced between the cars. That was so nice and relaxing. So even though...
And they run cheesy 50s sci-fi.
Yeah,
I mean,
and even though I missed out on Hollywood Studios, totally made up for it when we got back on the bus and we went back to dinner. That was nice. And then we did get on some rides.
no, because I got we
did.
So with disabilities, you do get a disability pass, which is you get it's linked to your account, and you go to the ride and you say I want a return time. So if the wait is an hour, they tell you come back in 55 minutes.
Yeah.
And you go right through the fast pass lane.
Very helpful.
And you don't have to wait in the long queues, and it's easier to take Connor and move him away from that. So while they were out of the park, I had the ability to get the return time, but Connor had to activate it.
Yes.
So while they were gone, I got the return time for Smuggler's Run.
Yes, he wanted to do that.
He wanted to do Smuggler's Run, and we got to get on it and do it.
Yeah, he didn't feel like he missed out at all at Hollywood Studios.
No, because he did ride Rise of the Resistance, Smuggler's Run, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway.
Yeah.
He did something else. We did...
I can't remember now. But he did not feel like he missed out. He enjoyed the park with what he did. He enjoyed his dinner. And I didn't feel like I missed out. I mean, yeah, I didn't get on a ride or two that I would like to have gotten on. But you know what? I enjoyed that day. I enjoyed the dinner. I got back to the hotel and I was able to enjoy some coffee and a little tasty treat from downstairs.
Let's talk about Joffrey's coffee.
And just let him sleep while I just rest myself. Who doesn't like that? Like, what mom doesn't like that?
Joffrey's coffee.
Oh my goodness. Move over to Starbucks. Move aside.
I found the K-Cups, but they're, you only get 24 for $24. I don't want to pay $1 a cup, so. Joffrey's coffee was so good.
Well, we could just do it like on a special occasion.
Yeah, maybe.
And then when my mom comes over, hide him because she'll take about 12 of them with her.
The coffee shop downstairs at the hotel was a Joffrey's.
Yes.
And I was able to go get a shaken Jamaican.
Yes. The other thing I really liked about the trip, aside from family time, aside from the parks, aside from the family time and the food, the resort itself, the contemporary resort itself. I wish we had another day to just remain at the hotel, at the resort, and just take it all in. Note to self, we'll add another day in the next trip because it had everything you need just to enjoy entertainment and dining there. The restaurants downstairs, the monorail that runs through it for easy access to the park and to the park. The treats that you can get there at the little stations, Joffrey's. Mm-hmm. The programming, the recreation that they do at the pool, the quiet pool by Harbor Bay. What is that? Bay Lake. I'm getting it all confused. Bay Lake.
Oh, the nightly show.
The nightly, the electric parade on the
water parade.
I mean, my goodness. Me going back to the hotel so my son could rest was no loss for me because I love that hotel. Yeah.
That being said, I don't want to put all of our eggs and always stay at the same place.
No. We'll try something different.
I'd like to stay at one of the Skyliner resorts next time. And then actually skyline into Epcot or...
Yes, I definitely... The only thing I say about it all that I would do differently next time is... be able to enjoy Epcot more. By that time the kids were just so tired.
That needs to be a you and I think, without kids.
The kids were so tired. We got to certain lands. We went to where did I get the troll horn? What restaurant was that? A cafe?
Oh, I don't remember.
Norway. I don't remember.
It was in Norway. The pavilion.
I wish we could have gone to more of the lands, but the kids were just tired and there was no way. So we will probably stay at a hotel closer to Epcot. And maybe make Epcot first. So that we don't lose steam midweek.
Right.
Because by the time you hit it Wednesday or Thursday...
Day before the last.
You're starting out and then by that you're just
and we ended up we went to London, but we didn't go to France.
Yeah, we were so tired. Not just us, the kids, but us too. So
I don't think we didn't go to Japan or...
Yeah, but we saw. We saw it.
I got the pictures from a distance.
Yeah. It's just too much. So, one of the things I want to talk about, which is so important for families who travel with a child with autism spectrum disorders, is to be prepared to go approach the vacation with workarounds. It's important to have workarounds. I hear so many people that say, you know, I don't even go anywhere because I'm embarrassed that my child's going to act up or have a meltdown, or I don't want to like freak anybody out if they have a meltdown, or I don't even want to travel by airplane because I don't think he could do it or she could do it. And initially, when Connor was diagnosed at about 2.5 years old, I went through that, not wanting to go anywhere, not wanting to go to parties, because, like, you know, you don't want to inconvenience people. At the same time, you don't want to feel like out of your element or be, you know, like go into panic mode when they have a meltdown or behavior in front of other people. So you tend to like want to stay in your own place, but that doesn't help them. It doesn't help them grow. It doesn't help them to learn how to adjust to their environment. And so they can go and do these things, but they must do it with workarounds. So did you want to close?
Magic Kingdom.
I love Magic Kingdom. Like when we planned it, well, I'm going to say when he planned it, because he did like 99.9% of the work. He will let me know what he had in mind, and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds good. The one thing I did insist upon was 2 days at Magic Kingdom, because he wanted to do it a little bit differently, and I said, no, I want 2 days at Magic Kingdom. I love Magic Kingdom. I know it's like, people say, oh, you can get it done in 1 day and be done and move on to Hollywood Studios for 2 days. And I was like, nope, I want 2 days at Magic Kingdom. I want to take my time at Magic Kingdom. I also said that because I know that Connor was going to need a lot more patience, and we were going to have to take breaks. And knowing that he would probably be overwhelmed by a lot of the crying babies. And so, like, we need to move slower.
My recommendation is 2 days at Magic Kingdom, 2 days at Hollywood Studios, and 2 days at minimum 2 days at Epcot.
Epcot.
1 day at Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
Is plenty. We went in late and still did everything.
Yes. 2 days Magic Kingdom. Now you know why I said that, Jay, because...
But we didn't have enough time to do 2 at each of the others.
We needed 2 days at Magic Kingdom, 2 days definitely at Hollywood Studios. If that's, you know...
That way you can break up some of that heat.
That's what you like, and the heat. Definitely.
I felt like I wanted to stay in and do it all day because we weren't going back, and
2
I wanted
days
to
at Epcot,
get it all in. Take some time to explore Disney Springs.
Oh, yeah. You have to. Yes. We didn't even talk about that.
No.
Oh, Connor loved Disney Springs. Connor wrote an essay, because I'm his homeschooling teacher. So I said, write an essay about the highlights and the more challenging parts and the things that you did enjoy about your vacation. And he, like in a matter of like 15 minutes, kicked out 2-page essay with intro, body, conclusion. He had, you know, the transitions, the example, the topic sentence, the examples, topic sentence, examples, all the transition sentence. He had everything. Oh my goodness. I loved it. Disney Springs was like one of his favorites. It was also one of mine. I didn't even talk about that. I totally forgot how much we did.
We didn't do enough at Disney Springs.
My goodness, no.
But to be fair,
We did it.
if you're staying at the Contemporary, get yourself a lift.
Oh, yes.
The shuttle to Disney
The bus.
Springs,
It's one of the longest.
especially at night.
Yes. Because Disney Springs is open till 10. People are going over there all day. So the line to get on the bus.
And social distancing, they're not packing the buses.
Yeah. Like, you may have to wait.
3 or 4 buses.
2 or 3 buses or more in Connor. And then there was the babies and the crying kids. Connor was just like, I'm not having it. So he called a lift, and they were there. He was there within 10 minutes, and we walked off to this little private little area.
I'm sure we got to Disney Springs before people in the line at Contemporary were trying to...
It was so nice, and it was so affordable.
Yeah, $20
$20 bucks each way when you're traveling with a child with autism.
That's including tip too. So
that's to me. Oh, that was totally worth it.
Oh, definitely worth it.
And then when we left, Connor was like, "Are you calling Lyft? Are you calling Lyft?"
He wanted a lift every day after that.
After that, he was like, "Oh, this is nice. It's called Lyft." We were like, "No, son.
No, we're getting on the bus
when we have to.
Yeah.
We only do that when we have to. We like to teach him to wait and to be patient and to practice those skills. But when we know it's going to be totally out of his comfort zone, and this is hard for us, imagine him, then we make those accommodations. But that was so nice. We went to see Raya. He pre-ordered the popcorn and the drinks packages or whatever they call them. It was so nice. That was such a nice evening. And then we went to the Edison for Hannah's birthday. He did all the reservations for dinner. You must have reservations, or don't be disappointed when you go to dinner and there's nothing available for you. We live in a reservations world right now.
I think that's even the case without COVID and pandemic, and people were telling me when they went years ago, you had to book those things months in advance.
It's worse now. You must have reservations.
As soon as you know you're going, start booking your dinners. And you can change them. If you change your mind later, you can look to see if there's something that you'd rather do. You can modify your reservations later, but book something as soon as you know you're going.
Yeah, and just don't no-show, because if you just no-show, they will charge you a fee.
You do have to book it with a credit card.
Within 24 hours, they will charge you a fee for no-showing, so definitely cancel. I think it's 24 hours. Yeah, don't just no-show, because you're going to get charged something. But that was so nice. The weather was gorgeous. We went in the evening, so the lights come on, and you know the music and the magic, and everybody's having a great time, and you're hearing the bands playing from the different restaurants, and the Edison was so great. It was a different experience for us. That restaurant turns into a nightclub at night, so it kind of has like that hip vibe to it, and it was great service. We got great service all through our vacation. At dining time, of course, right? That's what you pay good money for, is that attention that they give you. You pay good money for that quality service. I'm willing to pay good money for that, and we're willing to give good tips for that. They work hard to make that happen. So that was so nice.
And that's the one thing I do, is I tip well.
Jason's a good tipper. He's such a good tipper. I'm like, are you sure?
Well, you always say, what's the tax?
I always say, what's the tax? Double the tax, right? Maybe that's antiquated now. That was a long time ago. But I look at the bill and I'm looking at the tip. I will
double the tax.
Ooh, wow.
If the service is mediocre. If it's just
scares
okay.
Me sometimes.
if the service is just okay, I'll double the tax. That's roughly about 16%. But if the service, if they're on you, if you're not even asking for a refill and they're bringing it to you.
They're on it. They're like anticipating.
And you're seeing that the restaurant is packed.
Yeah.
And you're still getting that service.
Really good.
You're working for it.
They're working hard. And I'm thankful that he's very generous with our servers.
Well, remember, I worked in the service industry, so.
But the thing that I say is, like with maids, I have that thing about maids, because I think and I always tell him, we tip everybody. We tip everybody from the moment we get off the train, the airplane, we go to the bus. You're tipping the bus guy, this bus guy, that person brought up your luggage, the servers. But then what about the maids? My mom was a maid, and I'm like, what about the maids? You better throw down for that maid. I'm sorry. No, I'm like, no, let's not forget the maids. People, please do not forget the maids. They work hard.
And when the maids have to work to clean our room, I usually do leave them a good tip, too.
Yes, please don't forget the maids. That is some hard work.
During these times, they brought you towels and some toiletries. They don't clean your room right now.
Yeah.
They don't make your bed. They don't do any of that.
But they do it before and after.
But they do the big cleaning after and before.
So I'm sorry. You gotta.
We did leave the tip when we left.
That is not an easy job. And they did come in, take the trash. And if I did, call them and say, can you have them come up here so that I need this and I need that and I need this. And can you have them take out the trash? And we make lots of trash. They were really attentive. And so, please tip the maids. My goodness, how hard they work. How hard they work.
But everybody, I think, involved went out of their way to make everything as magical as they could. We had a shower plug up on day 2.
Yeah, they took care of it.
And I called maintenance, and they were up in 5 minutes. And within an hour, I think they had it cleared. And the guy says, this was This was
months
thousands
and
of
months.
people worth
Months
of hair.
and months of people's
He said that the hair he
going
pulled
down
out
the
was as
drain.
long as his arm.
Yeah,
and
we just happened when the drain clogged. I was like, oh, wonderful. I don't want them thinking that it was us. You know, they see like our kids have a big head of hair. I don't want them thinking we did it. So when they came in, I was like, just so you know, I know like we have lots of hair, but that wasn't us. And he was like, oh no, this was like months.
He said
months.
thousands of people.
Yeah, so don't feel bad. So it just happened to happen on us. Anyway.
So, yeah, everybody was very attentive.
Yes.
And, you know, if you want to get away during a pandemic, go.
Go get some sun. And
If you have a child with special needs,
go. Don't
You know
not
what?
travel because
Everybody
of that. Go.
was understanding.
Yes. We'll talk about that.
Guests not so much, but employees and you know the people around us, the waitresses and the staff at the hotel, everybody was understanding.
Yeah, but not even the guests.
Some of the guests give you that.
I didn't see that.
I got it a few times.
I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get that vibe at all. And I'm usually, I mean,
You know, when
maybe,
you're cutting in front of people and going into the fast pass lane.
Oh, for that.
When they're not issuing fast passes
okay,
right
I get
now.
that. Like, yeah, I didn't get that vibe from people at the hotel or anything.
No, from the hotel, everybody was great.
But you're talking about, oh yeah, I've always gotten that vibe. Like whenever we get fast passes for Connor's guest assistance because of the real issue of waiting in those long lines with him.
And the crying kids.
And the crying kids and just the sensory. Yeah, I'm sorry. Should I apologize that her son has a neurological disability? Does that inconvenience you? I don't apologize for that. But yeah, I know we've had plenty of people look at us with attitude in the past because they're waiting in this long line and here we come up with this pass. And Connor, you know, the disability, the neurological disability doesn't show. He looks like a typical kid. And so you get people just looking at you with attitude, like, you know, they're frustrated, they're tired, and you just go walk on with your kid. What's wrong with him? You know, he's not in a wheelchair.
Even wheelchairs have to wait in line
Physically,
now.
he doesn't look like there's anything wrong, and so they give you attitude, but I don't care. Whatever. You don't want to walk our walk. You don't want to know what we endure every day. So let us do this, and we just need Jesus. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, okay, that's all.
That was I think that's our highlight of the trip.
Yes, I have to get hunchers.
So
Anyway.
all right, everybody.
We just wanted to talk about that. The thing is, we're going to talk about traveling with a child with autism spectrum disorder and ADHD in another video. The most important thing is, please do not stay home and do not go anywhere because of your fear of what people will think or how will they handle it, or I don't know if you can do this. Yeah, you can. You really can. We've lived it. We've lived it. Our thing is to find workarounds. What can we do to help our child, not just Connor, but our children enjoy this so that it's not so overwhelming? And we find workarounds, and that's what we do. Mm-hmm. And that is truly what makes us No Ordinary Family, is that our love to, you know, treat each child and respect each child. And what can we do to respect them and to have them blend into the world in a way that's comfortable for them and not feel like we need to make apologies for our children. We need to apologize to people. I'm sorry I convinced you. We don't apologize to anybody. The world is full of a lot of people different than you, and you got to get used to it, or, you know, it's going to be a difficult place for you to live. So, okay.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching us.
Thank you for listening to us. We do this to share our story and our journey, and if anything in that is something that you can use to help you in your life journey with your family, then we've done our job. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to click the subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon for notifications when we upload new content. And as always, thanks for watching.